enthralls me.
Well, thank you.
So the first question is, I understand that you name your book after Bing Crosby songs.
Yes.
Why?
I grew up with my maternal grandfather, and he was a great record collector, and Bing Crosby was his favorite. And he was such a great influence in my life, I decided to pay him a tribute that way.
Oh my God, that is just so cool. I understand that you've written 3 books.
Yes.
And they're out for us to buy.
Yes, they are.
And I understand you're coming out with a 4th.
Yes, it's already done, already written. It will be released next year, next October, so a little bit of a wait.
It is a little bit of a wait.
It is.
So is it the continuing characters
It is
that
the
we're all used
same
to?
Marjorie McClelland and Creighton Ashcroft and
All
the whole
those.
town of Ridgebury.
So my question is, you need to think about how you pick out your characters, because I notice you have a boarding house.
Yes.
Why a boarding house and not a country inn?
I didn't know you then.
Oh, okay. So, next time.
Next time around, I
All
would
right.
definitely consider the country inn.
Good. Excellent. I've moved to the other side of the counter because this recipe is Amy's. So Amy is going to take over. You
That's
ready?
right. Everyone at home can yell at me if it doesn't turn out right.
Okay, that sounds like a deal.
But it's very easy, very fast, because I know after Christmas and all of that, everyone's pretty well tired, so they don't want to fuss. So I have one package of frozen puff pastry, which I've defrosted, and you're just going to unfold this. Very carefully, so it doesn't tear.
So Amy,
Mm-hmm.
you've got it just a little bit stuck, so I think
It's just a little stuck.
you'll be all right. So do you want some flour
Yes,
before you
please.
finish doing that?
Yes.
So we're going to put some flour on the board to make it easier
Right.
for Amy when she rolls out the dough.
And we're just really going to roll it enough so it's just slightly flatter, more even.
Did you see what I just did?
Yes.
Thank God for aprons.
Thank goodness. Let me just, maybe a little on top here too so this doesn't stick.
Absolutely. I'll leave that there, so if you need more, you've got it right
And
there.
as I said, you don't really need to roll it a lot. You're just really just stretching it out a little bit. Maybe about, I would say about approximately 12, 13, 14 inches long this way. And maybe just a little this way too.
Don't you just love store-bought and puff pastry?
I do.
Oh, you can do so many things with puff pastry.
And I actually tried to make it once and then I said, why?
Yes.
It takes so much time to make it, and here it is right in the freezer case.
And they do a much better job than we can do.
Yes,
well,
they
I shouldn't
do.
say that. People can do it better than the store-bought, obviously.
Yes,
But it definitely
for the home cook, yes.
and it's so handy to make hors d'oeuvres.
Right.
As a matter of fact, okay, I'll let you continue,
Mhm.
Amy.
That's all right. And now we're going to work on our filling, and this is a 10-ounce package of frozen chopped spinach.
Yep.
And again, I know we always try to use fresh, but it's wintertime, and also, if you think about how much spinach that is, if it's fresh, ridiculous. Cheaper, easier, just buy the frozen one. And to that, we're going to add 1 egg, just to bind everything together. And mix that up. Mix that with our spinach. And we've defrosted this overnight in the sink, taken it out of the box, set it over a colander in the sink. Just let it sit all night. Doesn't take long. And then before you put it in the bowl, you really have to squeeze it. I even use a tea towel because I'm not really, that muscular. So I usually take the tea towel, really squeeze it well, throw that in the wash.
So we've got spinach and egg.
Spinach and egg.
And we're going to add, what
Feta
else to that?
cheese.
Ooh, that's right, we said feta cheese.
Some feta cheese.
Yep. We have, according to your recipe, I think it's like a 1/4 pound.
Yes, it is, a 1/4 pound. And this is 2 cloves of garlic, which I minced up. Got the garlic press out, squeezed them out. They're good and strong. You can smell
They're
them.
very
They're very
strong. Really yummy. Nothing like garlic. Oh my God.
Right. And this is some fresh ground black pepper.
And
About 20 turns of the pepper mill. If you like pepper, you can throw an extra. It won't hurt any.
So we did this all a little bit of ahead of time.
Yes. And then just a pinch of nutmeg, just for
Mhm.
that little bit of the warmth with the cheese and
Yep.
that holiday sort of flavor. And then we mix that all together.
And I'm just going to move this out of your way. So that looks very easy, put together.
Very easy. The hardest part is going to be slicing them. It's a little messy, but not difficult.
So probably I got this knife, but we're going to need another knife to cut that puff pastry
Maybe
with. So
a slightly.
actually, I'm going to give you this knife because I think you'll be
Okay.
happier with that knife.
So what we do is we spread this out on the
Okay.
puff pastry to
Okay.
about, I would say, a half inch of the edge.
So leave a border.
Just so leave a little border so you can seal the edges of the roll up.
Okay. Are you going to do that with some water?
Yes, I will.
Okay.
I'll just stick my fingers under the tap
If
there
you-
like you did.
Because I find, as you
Mhm.
just said, it's better if you want the puff
Mhm.
pastry to adhere. It's better to add a little bit
Right.
of moistness to that edge, and it adheres much better. It sticks together much
So
better.
we just try to even this out.
Smells good even before it's cooked. Something about that feta cheese, of course, we Greeks
Ah.
and the feta cheese thing.
That's wonderful stuff. Now you could also use other cheeses in this. I've made it with Swiss. I've put in mozzarella
Oh, excellent.
and a little bit of Parmesan. I
Yeah.
even, the one time, necessity, I didn't have feta, and what I had was some cottage cheese and some Parmesan, and I combined the two.
Oh, yum.
And I skipped the egg because it seemed to be wet
The
enough.
moisture from the ricotta, absolutely. So we're gonna make pinwheels.
Yes, we are. So now we just start rolling this up.
You notice she's doing it very tightly because she wants to get a nice
Tight
pinwheel.
pinwheel.
Oh, nice.
And we're just going to trim our edges here. Just even those off.
Yep, that looks good. And then I'll move this out of the way, Amy,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna
Thank you.
get
Bring
yours.
over.
Yep, bring your sheet
Put the
pan over
sheet
to
with
make it a
some
little bit.
parchment paper, and if you don't have parchment paper, you can always use non-stick spray.
Right, nonstick
Just
spray.
easy.
They even make those pads. I think they're called Silipads or
Yes,
something like
yes.
that. You can use that. But I
have
find
one of those
that,
at home.
as I'm sure you have, I find that when you put something on that pan other than the pan, you're going to be much happier because these pastries do stick to
Right.
the pans and it becomes a little bit more difficult to take them off.
And normally puff pastry, because it has so much butter, doesn't stick, but because these have a filling with cheese,
They'll stick.
yeah, absolutely. As I said, some of our spinach may
nice.
kind of eke out of there a little bit, but you can just...
So how
Tuck it
far
back
apart
in.
do you have to set?
This-
Because these are going to spread.
This is going to make about a dozen, so I would space them out maybe 4 by 3.
Perfect. Yep. They are gonna, puff pastry is gonna rise both up and sideways, so
Mhm.
you're gonna want to make sure that you leave enough space. To
As I said, that one came out a little bit.
that's okay. Nobody
That's
will
all
ever
right.
notice.
Stuck
Absolutely.
it back in. Waste
Yep.
not, want not.
Or if it doesn't get in there, nobody will know the difference anyway.
Exactly.
So Amy,
Mm-hmm.
what's your favorite New Year's Eve experience?
Oh, I would say before my husband and I were married, we went out. I was living in New York at the time, and we went to a local, I wouldn't say it was a bar or a club, it was just a pub, and they had a dinner and dancing and casual, but we had a really, really good time. So that was probably my favorite New Year's experience.
Excellent. Much quieter here in Vermont than in the city.
It is, yes.
But much nicer.
It is. It is. I had done the Times Square thing once, and
I've never
Didn't
done that.
really.
I've never done it. We've
You-
talked about it, but we've never done it.
seriously, you're better off just
Watching it on
TV.
Except we never stay up that late. So that will get us to my New Year's Eve experience. All right. Most of us have really great New Year's Eve stories. You know, the romance and all of that good stuff. My New Year's Eve story happened in Maine at our inn. We're serving New Year's Eve dinner,